How Streamers Ruined Gaming by Kameron.
Did streamers really ruin gaming, or are you just trash? In this video, I'm gonna talk about gaming before streaming was popular, and gaming after streaming became popular, and by the end of this video, you'll have an answer on if streaming really ruined gaming or not. Now, a few months ago, I was actually scrolling through Twitter, and I saw this tweet right here that says, dominating blue-collar workers in BattleBit. If you don't know what BattleBit is, well, it's basically like Battlefield and Roblox, and this is pretty much the whole clip. Yeah, pretty much that guy is just straight up dominating people. Like that's pretty much it. And I saw a quote tweet that said, Esports ruined casual gaming. Now, I know the whole title of this video is like something along the lines of how streamers ruined gaming, but I'm gonna put streamers and esports kind of in the same category. I say that because with streaming, you kind of gotta either be good at a game or funny, and with esports, you gotta be good at a game. So I'm gonna put them both together.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I know people watch my gaming stuff just because I'm funny dingus on the internet. I'm not good at games. Today, as of recording this, we did some Resident Evil 4 randomizer, and I missed some really point-blank shots, like embarrassing level of point-blank shots. And that is, unfortunately, the duality of being a streamer. You are either god tier at the game, like you are pulling like the entire team, you are carrying, or you're funny, or you have personality, right? Which that's not to say one is better than the other, right? I've watched Vinny Vinesauce for a number of years because I absolutely adore that man. I think he's super cool. I think he has a really cool personality. I love his thoughts on pizza eating New York pigeons, and he's got a cool personality and charm to what he does. Is he necessarily the best gamer? Debatable, but he's got a cool personality, and sometimes that's enough. There's absolutely streamers you can follow that are like, oh, top like 10 players worldwide at Call of Duty, right? But there's also streamers that like, God, you're god-awful at Call of Duty, but you know what? I like you. You're a cool streamer, right? And that's perfectly okay. Just something you have to consider when streaming. If you are mid-tier at a game and don't have a personality, it can be hard to gain an audience. It can absolutely be hard to gain any sort of traction.
Because they're pretty similar, if I do say so myself. But to really understand this, we got to go all the way back to 2018, the Fortnite Boom. Before Fortnite was this cringe cash grab that pretty much just preyed on little kids for money. It was a game that nobody truly knew how to play, and everyone had fun with it. I mean, back in 2018, every single human being was talking about Fortnite. I mean, back then you had Fortnite meme pages. Every single human being was posting their wins. People were doing emotes IRL.
Fortnite move.
Ow.
Do it again.
I could.
Fortnite.
If I did that like now, I would probably like break a rib. Like I'm looking at this and I'm physically in pain.
Move it.
I mean, that's how we got the infamous ninja clip.
Everyone wants to get it. Come on, baby. Show me what you got. Show me what. Just move. If you got to know it, just move. So I want to see some movement. I'm not seeing movement. Oh my God.
I don't know how to feel on Ninja, actually. I don't know too much about him. Like, I try not to have any sort of beef with any sort of content creators or anything like that, because I feel that we're all on this platform. We can all be reasonable towards each other, even if you vehemently disagree with something someone else says. I mean, you can be an adult, you can interact, right? I don't really have much of an opinion on Ninja, actually. I mean, I hear he's a legit dude. Kind of like how I think Mr. Beast is a legit dude. Haven't had any interactions personally, right? But I mean, cool, legit dude. Makes cool videos, does cool stuff, right? I don't know. It's just interesting to see how long Ninja has really persisted.
Since Fortnite was so popular, one thing that also became popular because of Fortnite was streaming. Back then, Twitch was like pretty niche, but I'd say that Fortnite made Twitch more mainstream. And you may be asking, why did people go to Twitch and not YouTube? Well,
I'm sorry, as somebody that has had issues with trying to multi-stream to YouTube, oh, YouTube's rough sometimes. Oof, God. I actually much prefer Twitch. That being said, someone can much prefer YouTube, and like I totally see the reasons. I think there are actual benefits to doing YouTube. My issue with YouTube is that my streams just kept getting demonetized despite manual review and like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. But you have to understand on YouTube, when you start getting demonetized and stuff like that, and it's why, you know, I try to censor certain things and try to watch what I post on certain things, because once you have too many marks against you, monetization becomes an absolute nightmare. So I was having issues from a YouTube standpoint doing streams because it was starting to affect, you know, my actual reactability and stuff. That is something absolutely to keep in mind.
about YouTube is that a lot of YouTube videos are edited, and some people, they may be good on YouTube, but it's like on Twitch is live, Twitch is raw, so if you lose, like, people are gonna see you lose, and if you win, people are gonna see you win. And that's why Twitch was so popular, because you could see high-level gameplay in real time. To determine if somebody was truly good, all you had to do was just watch them on Twitch. And with Twitch becoming so popular, some streamers that a bunch of people were watching back then was people like Myth, Ninja, Dr. Lupo, Nick Merckx. The whole Ninja versus Myth argument was like the biggest topic in school. I remember I was back in like 10th grade, and we were arguing at lunch tables talking about if Myth or Ninja was better. I'm not gonna lie, back then I was team Myth. But with all those—
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, did he just say lunch tables in 2018? I'm not old. I'm not old. I'm not old. I'm definitely not old. I'm not old. I don't know what you're talking about.
popular streamers and pro players being in the limelight, that made more people want to be a pro player slash streamer. I mean, did y'all see how some of these Fortnite teams were getting down? Bro, I'm telling you, if I had to crank a few 90s to be a freaking Fortnite pro back then, I probably would. And that's exactly where the downfall of gaming happened. Everyone started focusing on the money you could make from gaming rather than the fun from gaming. Fortnite—
well, it's interesting to bring this to the table, actually. And I actually have a little bit of input on that. I see the argument being presented here. I totally see it. I don't think the correlation is the causation. I think that this Fortnite syndrome is a symptom of the gaming issue. I don't think that this was the crux of it. I want to hear what he has to say, though.
It used to be this game where you try to win by doing these creative strats, like building a sky base, building a huge metal base, or maybe even camping in a bush. But then it turned into this huge Sweatfest when people saw that you could make abnormal amounts of money from this game. Back then, if you shot at a dude, they would probably start shooting at you back, like they wouldn't even build. But now, if you shoot at somebody in Fortnite, they're building a whole freaking skyscraper hotel with Wi-Fi. It's actually wild. Now, let me say this right now. I do also say that that's kind of just time. Like, with time, people get better. But my point is that everyone's playing games to be the best rather than to just have fun with their boys.
This right there, that sentiment is important. Put a pin in that. We will discuss that later.
Everyone is playing to be watched on Twitch or watched on YouTube. I mean, you ever play a game and you get killed by somebody with a TTV gamer tag and you go to their Twitch and they're not streaming at all? They're just sweating just to sweat. Like, everyone is just playing for that top spot, because in that top spot, you can make content out of it, and with that content comes a whole lot of money. Unless you're playing like Farming Simulator and you're a pro. I don't really think you make a lot of money from like Farming Simulator, but I don't know. I might become a Farming Simulator pro. You never know. Bars. But yeah, everyone's pretty much playing to be watched. I remember back then, games wouldn't really get sweaty until like 2 or 3 weeks after release. But now, games are sweaty off the rip. It can be 5.
Well, so that's actually part of the whole song and dance being... Donkey actually goes over this in one of his videos, right? Video Game Donkey goes over about how video game reviewers, they'll be the first to get the copy of the game, and they ham-fist their way through it, and that's how we get things like, you know... a Bloodborne DLC review that isn't even complete, or it's memed upon heavily, right? Where if you can say, for example, let's say Call of Duty Black Ops 2 got another remake. Like, let's just call it Call of Duty Black Ops 2, right? For this argument. And it was releasing next year, and I could get it a day early, and I could show that I was somehow the top player in those lobbies, and I could get that content out the fastest. I could get a bunch of traction. I could get a bunch of views. I could get an actual boost in the algorithm and what I do, right? Especially because people are like, oh God, Black Ops 2's coming out. I want to see that. I need me, give me, right? They want to consume that content, and that could absolutely give you a leg up in getting out content that people want to consume, especially in a market, because it's the day before, being a limited market. So these are very good things to point out in regard to why gamers will do certain things. If you can get a day before street date, right, and you can stream it on Twitch with no issues, it's almost like people are going to go to watch that because you're one of the only people putting out that content. You are the first to get there. And let's say midnight on a specific day, a game launches. If you are the first to hit number one on the leaderboards or something like that, and you can do so consistently, like top every single lobby you're in that night, and you make a video on it, bam, like you've created an audience for yourself.
Days away from Call of Duty coming out, and you already got a dude making a video saying best class setup 2023 MW3, and it's like, bro, the game hasn't even released. It can be 2 weeks before 2K comes out, and a dude already has the best build. It makes no sense.
It's
and when
great.
the game comes out, people are only going to play the meta, because when you only play the meta, you can win more, and when you win more, you can get up to that top rank, and when you get up to that top rank, you can stream, create content from it. More people are going to watch you because you're up high on the leaderboards, and then the cycle just continues and continues and continues. And now everyone's just playing the same because everyone's just trying to be the best to be able to stream it / be watched. Back then,
so let's put it this way, right? Helldivers 2 has had an issue with players, and that's why the railgun was nerfed, right? Oh, railgun's meta, right? You know what I use? I use the stupid drop bubble shield. You know the one that's on like 90-second cooldown, and it just drops down and it creates a giant bubble shield around you? I'm just using that, and I can already hear people, why would you do that? Or I've used the expendable rocket launcher for a hot minute now. Why would you use that? Why would you use that when unsafe railgun exists, or this exists, or this is the it's like 60-second cooldown. I can just start littering the map with expendables. It also just does decent damage to a Bile Titan. It's how I want to play the game. Wait a minute. It's almost like that's how I want to play the game. What a controversial subject, am I right?
and you would play games for the fun because there was really no money involved. But now it's like every single human being is trying to become the top streamer, and it's like, bro, like, where's the fun in that? Back then, gaming tournaments were giving out speckles. I'm telling you, if you won a gaming tournament for like freaking Mortal Kombat or Halo or something like that, you were probably going to get 50 cents in a Big Mac. But now, if you win a freaking Fortnite tournament or you just win a freaking Call of Duty tournament, dog, you're honestly set. You can buy your mom a freaking mansion. People are getting millions from tournaments. I mean, look at Booga, bro. Didn't he won like 3 million, I'm pretty sure, off of Fortnite? That is wild.
This?
That is insane money. Another thing about gaming after streaming is that games that aren't even sweaty are becoming sweaty. For example, Fall Guys. I remember back in 2020, every single human being was playing Fall Guys during quarantine. And with everybody playing Fall Guys, TikTok got a hold of that. And I remember scrolling through TikTok one day, and I saw this one dude making videos of the best strats on certain maps on Fall Guys. And I just thought to myself, what do you gain from being a sweat in Fall Guys?
I don't know. All I'm saying, Final Fantasy 14 had a crossover with Fall Guys. You got a title for that. You got King or Queen Bean from that. I never won them around. I'm actually god awful at it. But that's like, I acknowledge that I'm not good at games. I'm really not. I can like talk about things. I can try to have some semblance of a personality. I can be an internet dingus. I'm not good at games. Like, I'm really not. But I can acknowledge that, and I can lean into trying to be personable and trying to do some funny stuff and having engaging conversations. And this actually brings up the conversation. What is meta? So in everything, in anything, both everything and anything, something will always be the most efficient way at doing something. Let's take a game like, I think Magic the Gathering at certain points, right? Was Lightning Bolt not one of the best spells in the game at a certain point because it was so cheap to cast for, 3 damage that everything over 3, anything like 4 toughness was kind of stable. I don't know enough about that specific kind of thing. That Magic's a little outside of my territory. I play Tron. If you want to know how I play Magic, I play Tron. If I don't hit Power Plant, Tower, and Mine on turn 3, I just scoop and we go game 2. That's how I play. But in something like the Naruto CCG, which I'm more familiar with, there are certain Sasuke Uchiha you just run. There was one that you ran for Pain. It was Chibi, and it's just like, take 2 cards from your deck, throw them in your chakra zone. Hey, these 2 paints have ambush, meaning you can play them from your chakra zone. Might as well do that. In something like Yu-Gi-Oh!, what is one of the best ways we play the game? Pot of Greed and its off-brand Pot of Greeds. We literally play worse Pot of Greed in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it just works, right? And so in anything, not just games, but like there are certain weapons, like wasn't the Kuda in Black Ops 3 pretty good for a little while? And you have shotguns in Modern Warfare 2019. In anything you do, there will be present a more efficient way to do things. For a while in Helldivers 2, that was going to be the railgun. Thus, the railgun gets nerfed. A lot of people are saying, meta this, meta that, meta this. This is how you have to play the game. We will kick you from lobbies if you aren't running portable bubble shield, railgun, etc. Right? Gets nerfed. Okay, so what is the new thing that's going to be efficient? Some people can say, oh, well, the expendable rocket launcher, 60-second cooldown, does a lot of damage to charges and Bile Titans, right? And new things will evolve and develop to be the new efficient way of doing something. The invention of metas isn't necessarily wrong. It's how the game is balanced and how the game plays in doing that. It's okay if the character feels overpowered. Does the game make it feel like it's worth it, though? Imagine if you could just call a stratagem in Helldivers 2 every 5 seconds, right? Is it necessarily going to have an impact as overcoming bugs with their current spawn rates, having 4 Bile Titans off spawn right now, and you and 3 buddies using whatever you want to play the game and have fun to overcome the endless bug horde and extract with no issues, right? There's a certain level of achievement to that, right? And I think that's important. So I don't think metas are necessarily bad. It's that, how does the game play around with it? Is the game too scared to give you power? Is the game fine with giving you power, but does the game match it? There's a number of things to consider in this.
What do you gain? Like, I understand you're trying to show people how to win and stuff, but I feel like the reason why Fall Guys was so fun was because nobody was making strats or anything. People were just hopping in, having fun, just playing like headless chickens, you know? I feel like games die out quicker when you're making all these strats and stuff on how to win, when it's not even like, obviously, yes, the goal in Fall Guys is to win, but I feel like the whole point of that game is to enjoy the journey. Like the fun with friends, the freaking hurdles you're going over, that one dude griefing you on the map. Like when you're only focused on trying to get crowns in that game, the game becomes less fun because you're just focused on the destination rather than...
You're trying to solve the problem. Once the problem is solved, why should you go back and play it? That's the concept at play here.
The journey. Imagine coming home from a long day of school or work and you're getting sweated on in Fall Guys. Imagine you're over there just trying to chill, you're on this little cutesy game that's like Wipeout, and out of nowhere, TTV Try Hard for Life literally just claps you every single map, and it's like, dude, you can't even have fun anymore. No. And since everyone's tryharding, games are now catering to the bad players. One thing that games have been implementing is this thing called skill-based matchmaking. If you don't know what it is, well, I'll basically explain. Think of a lobby where all the top players from a bunch of different games all get into a lobby with each other and go head to head. Basically ranked play, but with no bonus rewards or anything. You just kind of get into a lobby with the best players without getting...
I don't know if this is a new thing though, right? Remember Halo 3, how we had, like, this has always been a thing, right? I don't think this is a new development. And I mean, to be fair, I don't... Yummy Dino Nuggets, what a Chad name. I don't necessarily agree with... I guess there's MMR issues. Like in every game, people complain about League MMR, complain about Dota MMR, complain about Halo Infinite MMR. Like, this has always been a thing. And in Halo 3, you could actually rank down if you lost. If you went on a big enough losing streak, you could actually just rank down, which is not a feature really seen in games anymore. I don't know. Like, to be fair, Call of Duty is the same community where you have big content creators saying that, stacking is cheating or stacking is bad for the game. And it's like, mate, you're going in solo or do whatever, and you complain that you have a 6 stack that's playing together. You know what that probably is? That's probably a bunch of buddies who just all got off of work or had a collective day off and said, hey, let's go play this game together, right? Like, how absurd that is. Dude, how many times have you played Halo Reach, Halo 3 back in the day? How many times have you played old Modern Warfare 2, old Black Ops 2? And how many times did you go up against a 6-stack and you saw that they were like with each other? It was a team. And you're like, dear God, we're about to absolutely crush them, or we're about to need a lot of lube because they're about to rail us, right? That's just part of the game. And it's being vilified at this point. If anything, I will disagree with the vilification of friends and teams playing together. It's such a weird thing to fixate on. And that's honestly why I can't even take the Call of Duty community seriously. Like, I'll go back. I will still go back to this day, and I've done it on stream. I will play Modern Warfare 2 2009 on stream. Sure, I have to deal with hackers sometimes. Sure, I have to deal with people. It's whatever, though. I get to have fun. That's the difference here.
getting any specific reward in casual play. And the thing about skill-based matchmaking is that it's unfair because the good players are being punished for being good at the game. And it gets to this point where it's like winning feels like a chore rather than actual fun. Because back then, if you truly wanted to sweat, you would go into like a ranked game mode or something. But now, if you're a tryhard, you're gonna play every single other tryhard 24/7 just because you're good at the game. Back then, games like Call of Duty, what they would do, you would join a lobby, and if you wanted to leave that lobby, you would just leave it. And if you wanted to stay after the game, you would stay. But now, after a game is finished, they just transport you to a whole different lobby with...
I hate that. Yeah. I can't stand that. I really can't. I miss these days. I miss when you could just stay in a lobby. I remember when Halo 3's servers were shutting down. I was on Halo 3. Oh, man, it was amazing. And... like, we were just talking in the lobby. It's such a wild thing that there's people that probably are going, Kip, what are you talking about? It didn't kick you out to the menu? No, we got to stay in lobbies. We got to hear Homeboy yelling just absolute obscenities and profanities at Homeboy B, and they're just fighting each other in the lobby. But after, when they're ready to go, hey, it was good to see you, man. Thanks for being cool. Yeah, thanks for being cool. And they left it on the field. We don't see that anymore.
Everyone else who also did good. And it's like, now you got to go head to head with all the big dogs just because you won one game. I remember Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, that had some of the worst skill-based matchmaking ever. That game was borderline unplayable because if you won one game, you would be playing the freaking Optic roster from freaking 2014 just from winning one game. And another way of games catering to bad players, Fortnite adding bots into their games just so you can feel better about yourself. Let's be real. It is 2023. Nobody is a default anymore in Fortnite. I mean, back then, yes, there were people who were bad at the game, but nobody is so bad that they're literally running into a wall 24.
See, he says this. This man does not need to see me stream games, is all I'm going to say. There was a clip that I got of, I was playing Rainbow Six Siege, and I was playing against some of the mod team, our mod team, and I got got a kill by just like the absolute most bot way possible. Like, you just see me, you just see Kip just like moving in a straight line. And it's like, and I literally got told, Kip, you play like a bot. Really? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of play like a bot. So bold of you to assume I have any skill at gaming.
Or 7 in Fortnite. So now it's like there's no middle ground between the good and the bad players. It's like, if you're good, you're being punished, and if you're bad, you're being rewarded. There's actually this tweet by FaZe Sway that says, the downfall of video games started when kids complained about people being good at the game. I remember when I was a kid and saw a Master Prestige in COD, I didn't tell him to take a shower or go outside. I sent that MF a friend request. And
I was from this era. I lived this era. I looked at those people and went, damn, I wish I could be that person. Not calling him a sweat, not calling him a tryhard, not calling them a basement dweller, right? No, I lived that era. Xbox, I miss Xbox Live so much. I miss Xbox 360 Live. Oh, it was amazing. That, yeah, I can actually get behind that statement.
That's facts. Instead of actually putting in the work to be good, a lot of people just sit there and complain, and now games are kind of catering to them. But one game that I say that kind of bridged the middle ground between the really good players and the really bad players is Street Fighter 6. One thing that Street Fighter 6 did, they added something called modern controls and classic controls. Classic controls, basically you have to do more to push out a combo, and if you do that successfully, then that combo does more damage. But if you play modern controls, you only hit square or something and it'll do a full combo, and those combos do less damage. So it kind of bridges the gap between good and bad players. But that's a whole fighting game. How can this be fixed in like games that are like FPS or something like that? In my honest opinion, I say that FPS games should just go back to like the regular lobbies, you know?
Honestly, and I actually have thoughts and opinions on this. Ranked should be skill-based. Quick play casual should not introduce any sort of matchmaking, like any sort of MMR. I think that it is asinine that I can play Halo Infinite and get up to, God, was I Plat 1 at some point? Something like that. Zentreya was like Onyx. Zentreya goes hard. Like, I think I got to Plat 1 at highest. And suddenly I'm all I'm playing in like just regular quick play queue, right? Is just super sweaty games where everybody is just going ham. Right? Like, it's fine if you got, like, back in the day in Modern Warfare 2, right? It'd be fine if you have that dude on the enemy team that's just absolutely cleaning lobbies. Or you have that dude on Halo 3. He knows where all the power spawns are. He's going for sword. He's going for rocket. And he's going, like, 25-4 easily, right? but there's like one person in the lobby that does that, and you see these people that are, they're losing their 1v1s against you, and there's that feeling of accomplishment and achievement in overcoming those 1v1s, right? And now it's just like, well, you're clearly plat 1, so we should pair you with all other plat 1s, rather than you have one plat 1 here, you have an Onyx on the other team, and I guess it tried to jumble from the pool that it pulled, but it's not like you're in an entire team of gold 5 up to plat 4 having a entire plat 3 team, right? I miss that, honestly.
Back then, you could join a lobby, scope out the lobby, see who's like the freaking best players and stuff. If they were a little too good for your level, you could leave if you wanted to. Like, I don't think that you should be transported into the freaking universe of the top 12 Call of Duty Masters after you win one game. I feel like there should always be that option to stay if you want to stay or leave if you want to leave.
Yes.
There was nothing wrong with those lobbies back then. It's just like games just wanted to cater to the bad players, So it's honestly just like, gaming is just honestly a huge sweat fest. And that rounds back to like the ultimate question of this video. Did streamers really ruin gaming? In my honest opinion, yes. I 1000% believe that streamers in esports ruined gaming, because there is no reason why people should be sweating at a game where you literally farm cabbages. How do you even sweat in farming?
I don't know. To be fair, there are people that can do some absolutely insane things on Factorio, to be fair. I think, once again, streaming is a symptom of the greater problem.
Simulator. How? Let me know in the comments. Do y'all think streamers / pro players ruin gaming? Or like, what's your guys' take on this whole situation? Let me know. But yeah, this is going to wrap up the video. If you guys made this far, I appreciate you. If you guys enjoyed this video, then I highly recommend you guys check out my most recent video where I talk about why everyone hates prank channels. But yeah, with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. It's Cameron, and I'm out.
Honestly, good video. I'm very glad that this got recommended to me. There was a point that I said put a pin in earlier. I don't remember it. If someone in chat remembers it, let me know. So, okay. I don't think... So, it's kind of a trick question for me, or it's a trick answer. Did streamers ruin gaming? Did esports ruin gaming? Yes and no. Because streamers and esports are the symptom of the way games have been going, and they're a symptom of that issue. So therefore, they're a cause of its continued decline, but they're not the sole cause. A versus the sole cause. So that's where I kind of stand on it. And I'll use this video as my kind of response, kind of long form response to this. Excellent video, by the way, Cameron. If you haven't checked out Cameron, I actually really loved this video, and I absolutely recommend that you go check him out. This was absolutely so awesome. So no, the prospect, yes, I agree, chat. The prospect of streaming ruined it. And that being said, just I've been in lobbies in Modern Warfare 2, 2009, in Modernity the past 2 years, right? Where I can attest this firsthand. If I start using the noob tube, the entire lobby starts to devolve into using the noob tube, right? We've all seen it happen. So naturally, if you have somebody in a Call of Duty setting, in a Battlefield setting, in a PvP setting, right? And they are using the oh man, he's just using the meta loadout. Come on now, right? To deal with the 1 or 2 people using the meta loadouts, don't you swap to another loadout, to a better loadout, potentially even another meta loadout, and thus it just becomes a sweat fest. It becomes just an absolute slugfest of just, the meta game things, and, it just becomes not very enjoyable. I think that people need to get used to just playing a game again. But playing a game is not profitable, right? I can hop on Twitch, which I do a lot of stuff on Twitch. I know there are people that are new. I know that people are like, actually, wait, Kip, you do Twitch? What? Yeah, I do Twitch. I'm not good at stuff I do, right? Like, I'll play Final Fantasy 14. I'll play stuff like Resident Evil 4 Randomizer. I love Resident Evil. I'll play my annual Dead Space stream. Sometimes I'll play a funny FPS game and do absolutely horrible at it. But I'm not a good gamer. Compare this to somebody who's top 10 at like Apex in the world, who's got a better watchability. I tend to tangent a lot and go on long form content and talk, right? And I kind of try to have this personality. I try to streamline what I say, but that's kind of where I fall into. We discussed this earlier in the video. And, I sometimes can just get into a game and it's like, I understand that this is the meta game pick. And I'll even ask, like in Helldivers, like, hey, we're doing bots, we're doing level on Creek, like, what am I actually bringing, though? And sometimes I'm just like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to go bring Bubble Shield. Sometimes I just want to play a game the way I want to play a game. If I wanted to min-max metagame, I would go to my local Yu-Gi-Oh! LGS, the like one that actually still does Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore, and watch the newest like iteration of like Sword Soul Tenyi, 30 moves in a turn, 30 plays in a turn shenanigans that just gets vomited out on the board. And it's like, hey, if we want a min-max, I'll play a min-maxy game. Sometimes I just want to play a game. And I'll take it Final Fantasy 90% of the time. Honestly, that's just me applying my face to the encounter and having a vague understanding of mechanics. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Like, I am just kind of zen, kind of just zone out, kind of just like, I'm going to apply my health bar to this problem and we'll get there. And I kind of, at that point, rely on my personality to get through this. But I don't think that it's necessarily pro gamers. I don't think it's streamers that are the sole cause of this. I think part of the cause of this is skill-based matchmaking, but we've been seeing this before. I don't think that Fortnite is even the fall of it. I think Fortnite has its own modern knock-on problems with a lot of it, namely that every live service now wants to be a Fortnite. Everyone wants their own Fortnite, right? But they don't quite have that staying power. So I think the way that gaming has been going for a number of years, catering towards more hardcore players, more hardcore groups of people. We see this in Destiny. The Lightfall expansion got harder because people said the game wasn't hard enough. We had raids and dungeons tweaked up because specific people said that the game wasn't hard enough. If you're the top 1% in a game and the other 99% of players below you are having issues with content, maybe you should just go play a different game. Or maybe you shouldn't say, the game needs to be harder for us specifically, right? If anything, some devs would take that as a challenge. Here, have your absolute F-off impossible mode, which one-shots you. And I'd actually have a lot of respect if, say, like, Destiny 2 did do that. Here, have your 1% streamer mode, right? And make a live event out of it and just watch as these people saying the game is too hard get absolutely shredded because everything one-shots them, right? That could be a fix. A little bit of a humbling experience. But I've had a number of conversations on this, and I think I think that's why this video is a popular video, is a popular topic, is what happened. A number of things happened in gaming, in modern gaming, in streamlining content, in giving us, lackluster content to the point that, if you're good at a game and people want to solve that puzzle quickly, that instant gratification that a lot of games have been giving you, that instant gratification and seeing someone good at the game and be a huge influencer on how you play games, thus leading into, well, we've solved this game. We go in with this loadout, this weapon, this mod, and we're good to go, right? And we've really lost kind of that spirit of gaming. We're you're not having to brute force your way through things, trial and error, and to actually get good at games. But this has been a little bit of a long, rambly piece. Let me know what you thought of it. If you haven't checked out Kameron, definitely check out Kameron. If you're curious about my thoughts on this, I do have some thoughts on it. I have to actually put them to paper in a very specific way. But it's a very interesting conversation to have nonetheless. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I definitely do appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next one.